part of what I've been doing at the university is helping out with this great new initiative called the Problem Solving Initiative, where law students and sociology students and medical students and engineering students, students from all over the university come to tackle a big, big problem. So something like driverless cars. How do we adapt to this new technology? What are the regulations that are going to be about it? Or something like human trafficking. A lot of problems with human trafficking, picking it up in the medical context. How to identify victims when they come to hospitals. How do we deal with human trafficking victims, getting them support, particularly when they're refugees. These really, really big problems. And one of the things I tell all the presenters, and many of them will be on display next week for their capstone presentations, is that, look, some of you might be talking about government regulation. Some of you may be talking about human trafficking, but all of you should have the same thing written on that sheet that comes with you when you give a presentation. And this is the word. Mr. Patel, you want to read it for us?
Pause.
Yeah, you should write to yourself, here's a space when I transition from point 1 to point 2 where I need to pause. Or even this word.
Breathe.
You need to remind yourself of these things. Oxygen should be a part of every presentation that you give. And I say to write this, I'm serious about this, write this down on a piece of paper when you're writing out a speech. Where is the place that you're going to pause? I really recommend taking an idea from a great book called The Checklist Manifesto, which is having awareness that in the moment, you're not going to remember to do the things that you need to do. So the Checklist Manifesto comes from a surgeon, an author named Atal Gawande, and he talks about how surgeons have checklists. Because in the moment, they're going to get anxious, they're going to get nervous, things are going to get complicated, and they need to remember, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. So pause, breathe should be on your checklist. Nurses use checklists. Pilots use checklists. Airplane travel has become a lot more safe because more and more pilots and airlines have not trusted just their instincts to get you from Los Angeles to Chicago, but there's a checklist that you go through. And I think this is something that we can borrow when we're doing a somewhat less high stakes, but still very anxiety-producing activity, which is giving a speech.